Now at 1 o'clock, the news on BBC One with Simon McCoy.
An authority not fit for purpose. The damning verdict of a report into Rotherham Council's handling of the child sex abuse scandal. The report says children in the town are still not safe from sexual exploitation. And a judge from New Zealand, Justice Lowell Goddard, has been named as the head of the inquiry into historical child sex abuse. We'll be getting the latest from Rotherham and from Westminster. Also this lunchtime, anger on the streets of Amman after the barbaric killing of a Jordanian pilot by Islamic State. 2 convicted jihadists are executed in response. Captured on camera the last moments of a passenger plane as it crashes into a river in Taiwan. 1 in every 2 people in the UK will be diagnosed with cancer at some point in their lives, according to new research. And Kai, the dog abandoned at a Scottish railway station with his favourite belongings in a suitcase, gets a new home.
Coming up in the sport, head coach Stuart Lancaster names his team ahead of England's Six Nations opener with Wales on Friday. Prop Dan Cole returns after missing the autumn with a neck injury.
Good afternoon and welcome to the BBC News at 1. Rotherham Council is not fit for purpose. It's just after 1:15, our top story this lunchtime. An authority not fit for purpose, the damning verdict of a report into Rotherham Council's handling of the child sex abuse scandal. And still to come, 6 people are killed as a crowded commuter train hits a car in New York State.
And in the sports, Rory McIlroy has settled his legal action with his former agent, Horizon Sports Management. The 2 sides ended the multi-million euro dispute on the second day of proceedings at the Irish High Court.
Half of all people in the UK will be diagnosed with cancer at some point in their lives. You're watching the BBC News at 1. It's 28 minutes past 1. Our top story today, a report into child sex abuse in Rotherham says the local authority is still failing children and is not fit for purpose. In a moment, John Hammond will be here with a full national weather forecast, plus the news where you are. But first, with news of the Six Nations rugby and all the rest of the day's sport, here's Hugh Wozencroft at the BBC Sports Centre. Hugh, time for a look at the weather, and John Hammond is here. John.
Thank you, Simon. There's no such thing as bad weather, just inappropriate clothing. So if you wore plenty of layers, I'm sure it was fantastic out on the moor in Lancashire, a lot of sunshine, but yes, it's cold. It's cold nationwide. Thanks for the photo, Keith, and it's fairly typical, really, of the scene across many parts of the UK. Bright blue skies, but a chill in the air for sure, particularly across eastern parts of England, where that breeze is carrying a few showers around. The best of the sunshine further west, also clouding up across the north of Scotland with some patchy rain, a little bit of snow up over the high ground, but for central and southern Scotland, Northern Ireland and the more western parts of England and Wales, a sparkling afternoon, lots of sunshine, temperatures though struggling, 4 or 5 degrees at best. More cloud across eastern areas with a few showers, but even here plenty of dry and bright weather, clearest of the sky as always further west. And that's the way we stay really through the rest of the afternoon. Now these showers across the east giving a few more centimetres for the North York moors, the odd dusting elsewhere, mostly rain or sleet near the coast, but watch out for ice here. The cloud and patchy rain and snow drifting south across Scotland, so a bit of ice here as well. The clearest of the skies across these more western areas, and that's where the lowest of the temperatures will be, well below freezing. But by tomorrow morning we're going to see a clutch of wintry showers developing across eastern counties, pushing into some central areas as well. Rain, sleet and snow could give a light dusting and certainly some ice around, so Met Office warnings in force. It could be a slippery start to your day across these more eastern areas. These will tend to fade, these showers, but the band of cloud will continue to push its way further westwards. So after a bright start across parts of Wales and western England, tending to cloud over. At the same time, it'll brighten up again across these more eastern parts of England with some sunshine, but feeling cold. Rather more cloud across Northern Ireland and Scotland at times, but mostly dry. 4, 5, 6 degrees will be typical. even colder across these more southeastern parts on Friday. Quite a bitter wind, a strong northeasterly, and temperatures at just 3 or 4, and the odd snow flurry across the far southeast. Further north and west, the winds will be lighter. So although temperatures won't be much higher, it'll feel more comfortable with lighter winds and hopefully a bit of brightness around too. Changes as we hit the weekend. We'll lose those really bitter winds, the coldest air drifting away into the continent. High pressure trying to build in from the northwest. That'll have a couple of effects. I think the winds will tend to die down. We'll see a fair bit of cloud developing, so not a huge amount of sunshine. It'll feel less cold, but watch out for some areas of fog and frost. That's it. Simon.
John, thank you very much. A reminder of our top story this lunchtime. A report into child sex abuse in Rotherham says the local authority is still failing children and is not fit for purpose.
I think over a long period of time, really, the council hasn't really listened to inspections, to reports, to people trying to get them to improve what they're doing.
And a judge from New Zealand, Justice Lowell Goddard, has been named as the head of the inquiry into historical child sex abuse. That's all from us now on BBC One. It's time for the news where you are. From me, a good afternoon. At least 16 people have died after a plane hit a bridge and crashed into a river near the Taiwanese capital of Taipei. 58 people were on board the domestic flight. Rescuers on boats are trying to free others still trapped in the aircraft, which is almost completely submerged. Cindy Sue reports now from Taipei.
It was supposed to be a routine 1-hour flight, but something goes terribly wrong. Footage caught on a dash cam shows that the plane comes dangerously low towards this bridge. One of its wings hits a taxi and then clips the side of the bridge before crashing into the river below. The plane broke into pieces. This section landed on its side. The cockpit is completely smashed up. The cabin is submerged with many passengers inside. Rescue workers rush to the scene. This boy is one of the lucky few rescued alive. Another child on board, a 2-year-old, also survived, but is believed to be in critical condition.
There are hundreds of rescue workers out there, from divers to firefighters. They're trying as best as they can to rescue as many passengers as quickly as they can. But many people are concerned about why the rescue operation is taking so long. It's been hours since the plane crashed this morning, and still more than a dozen passengers are trapped inside.
They had to cut a hole on the side of the plane to get to the passengers. Rescue crews told the BBC many of the passengers were trapped by their seatbelts or luggage. It's unclear what caused the crash. There are reports that 2 minutes after takeoff, the pilots called Mayday and indicated an engine had died. The Taiwanese airline TransAsia said the plane was less than a year old and delivered to the airline only in April this year. It said all 3 pilots on board were very experienced. The black box has been recovered. That will help the authorities pinpoint what exactly caused this plane crash. Cindy Sue, BBC News, Taipei.